Hello. Um, I've always liked the idea of helping people even in death. After we consider dead, what is to happen with our physical being other than being um, buried into the ground? Why not make the most out of your post-mortem body um, by helping someone, by becoming an organ donor? So that's what I will be explaining to you today, why you should become an organ donor. The first purpose is obviously you'd be saving someone's life. You'd be helping someone else, which is one of the most selfless things that you could do for another human being. Um, the second reason is funeral costs would diminish or be very minimal. And then um, you would contribute to the saving of rural areas from the creations of more cemeteries. And we'll get into that in a little more detail here in a bit. Um, so, People are always in need of transplants. So, according to American Transplant Foundation, um, over 114,000 people in the U.S. are currently awaiting a life-saving organ transplant. Organs that can be donated after death are the heart, liver, kidneys, the lungs, pancreas, and small intestines. Tissues include cornea, skin, veins, heart valves, tendons, ligaments, and bones. Um, a healthy person can become a living donor by donating a kidney, part of the liver, lung, intestine, blood, and bone marrow. Um, those are all very important for people um, such as leukemia patients, people who have been in bad accidents and have lost a lot of blood. And you don't need two kidneys technically, so you can definitely donate one and still be able to have a very healthy life. Um, Funeral costs. So in the US, most people choose to have funeral arrangements that consist of a burial or a cremation. According to LHLIC.com, the average funeral costs between $7,000 and $12,000 for a funeral home and casket arrangements. That's not including the marker, cemetery plot, and flower arrangements or anything else that you would need uh, for the um, for the funeral. The average cost for a cremation is $6,000 to $7,000. Those are huge numbers, even just for a simple cremation. That's not including cremation urns, which can also be quite expensive. Of course, depending on what you get, I've seen the cheapest be $300, and that's for something very, very, very basic. And it's still a good chunk of change, honestly. According to donatelifetexas.org, depending on which programs you sign up for, you can sign up to donate your entire body or specified organs. Some will take it to use for recipients, or some will take it for medical research. Either way, it is helping humans in general. Um, but they will use what they need, and whatever is remaining, they will cremate and send to your loved ones for a very, very low cost, or even for free. Um, if you can donate your body and your organs to better um, your life, then why would you not? Because um, you're bettering someone else's life. You are minimizing or completely diminishing the costs of a funeral, and you're helping the environment by um, not contributing to the deforestation and um, the disturbance of nature and wildlife habitats. That is super important, and we're actually headed towards that way. Um, we're slowly getting rid of burials and caskets, which I think is fantastic. Um, so you can sign up on the website donatelifetexas.org. to donate your entire body, or you can become an organ donor through your local DMV when you apply for your driver's license. It's super easy doing it that way, but it's even easy donating, becoming or signing up for a donor through the website as well. Both processes are super easy and don't take any time at all. So you would sign up for these programs. Medical personnel would retrieve your body post-mortem in the case of sudden illness or death, and it would allow for them to recover your organs for the purpose of saving someone else at that instant. So let's talk about the organ transplant process. So according to nyp.org, these are the steps taken. So first, add or near the time of the person's death. They contact their donor organization to make sure that you're an eligible candidate for organ donation. Next, they evaluate your medical conditions, medical history. They run a series of tests to make sure your organs are suitable for transplant. For transplant, they must ensure that your organs are in good health and shape. Once the person is declared deceased, they obtain the consent from the next of kin or the authorized party to be able to use your organs. Afterwards, once the decision is made, they find recipients who are awaiting organ transplants through the waiting list UNOS, which stands for the United Network for Organ Sharing. The donor's information is put into the system where they are matched with people. So if you look on their website, they explain what this waiting list consists of. They have recipients' information that includes their blood type, their medical history and conditions, their urgency for this transplant, and also the exact time they were entered into their system. They even have people who have been removed from the waiting list due to a change in conditions that would disqualify them from receiving a transplant. They also have people who have unfortunately passed upon waiting for a transplant, people who have waited and never received it and unfortunately did not make it in that process of waiting, which is why it's super important to donate, to sign up to be an organ donor. So once they find a perfect match, the transplant surgeon will have the last say and make sure they are indeed a good match. Then comes the organ recovery procedure, which they retrieve the organs in the OR, and the team of medical personnel will depart the organ to the facility where the recipient will receive that transplant. So although it is a difficult process and decision to make, there are lots of people who have shared their stories on how organ donation changed their lives, donors and recipients alike. So according to lifegift.org, where they publish people's stories, there was this example here. Emily was a mother to a 17-year-old Cassie, who unfortunately suddenly passed in a terrible car accident. And Emily describes it as bringing her joy and happiness to be able to have Cassie donate her organs, because Cassie signed up to be an organ donor right before she passed. And that saved this recipient. Her name was Sarah. This saved her life. They used Cassie's heart to be transplanted into Sarah. And Emily describes it as pure joy when she would listen to her daughter's heart within Sarah's body. So these stories like this is why you should become an organ donor. So please consider becoming an organ donor. You can really make a difference in someone's life.